Alrighty, and we're live. Hey everyone, if anyone's watching yet, if not, I'm sure you will be here soon. All right, so I have a new guest tonight with me, Nichole Wolfe. Cool name. Can't wait to read her books. All right, I
Yeah.
will let you go first and introduce yourself and talk a little bit about your channel if you would like. Alrighty, you first. And we may have Aphrodite popping in later, but she's not here yet, so we'll see about that. Alrighty, off to
Okay.
you.
Hi. My name is Nichole Wolfe. I'm a paranormal romance author, and I just started my channel at the beginning of January. And just look up Nichole Wolfe. You'll find it. That's because that's my name. Nothing fancy. Just Nichole Wolfe. And I don't really know what else there is. Like what else there is to say. I mean, I've only published 2 books, and they're both paranormal romance. So I'm kind of like,
Yay! Published books is amazing. I'm just saying.
really in. I guess I did. I published 2. I published 2 books.
Woo!
Yeah, exactly. I did it all myself.
I have all of Nichole's links below if you want to check it out in the description. You get all her awesome links to her Facebook, her website, Instagram, where you can purchase books at. And you check out her YouTube. I don't have her YouTube link down there. I will put it in, I promise.
Oh, okay. That's fine. Like I said, I'm not hard to find. You just type in my name and I'll show up.
Oh, Amber's here. Hi, Amber. All right.
I can actually see the chat. Can I? Oh, I guess maybe.
I got it. If anybody has questions, then I'll usually shoot them to you because sometimes it's easy. Aphrodite channel. So I always do that. I'm like, if somebody asks you a question, I always like read it to you, and then.
Oh, okay, that works. I mean, I could hop on your channel, but I'm afraid we'd echo then.
Yeah, I have mine open, but what I do is I just mute that one on whatever device.
Whatever. Actually, yeah, okay. I guess I could try it.
Actually, I think I'm gonna throw my headset on here.
There we go. Okay, I got it. Now I can see the chat. Yay!
Yay! Cool. Yep, that's Amber there. If you don't know Amber Craft, you may know her. Are you subscribed to Amber?
I don't think so, but I mean, I just started like adding new channels.
Yeah.
I was kind of stuck on like the same like 5 people.
Oh, I know. I started networking more.
Right, exactly. Until like recently. So once I started my channel, I was like, you know what? I need to go check out like all of these Authortubes I've been ignoring for like ever.
Yep, I get you. So yeah, it's a lot of us out there. As I saw in the Authortube group, how many of us is in there, which is really, really cool. And the whole community is really inviting, which is different for me coming from a dance community. The dance community is not as.
Wait, what kind of dance do you do?
Oh, mostly Middle Eastern dance. So I'm a belly dancer, and I do modern dance, and so I do fusion dance a lot these days, and I do martial arts too. So I'm doing all movement style stuff my whole life. So big repertoire of 23 years, I think I'm coming up on, of doing dance. So
wow. Okay, I'm a tattooer.
But it wasn't the pleasantest of journeys once I came out in the public as a professional dancer. Then I got a lot of hate and stuff because I was the younger girl and I was the curvy girl and the big busty girl. So they didn't take too kindly to me where I live at, because being the mixed girl in the area, predominantly Caucasian, they were like surprised. Native American, Black, Native American, Black, Mexican, Puerto Rican, British is in there, and West Indies. So I am really mixed. So I definitely go by mixed background. And they were like, so I said, my dance is just like me. I dance and fuse a lot of different styles. I have a lot of respect for my cultures. So I've even fused Native American dance with my belly dance and martial arts. And then I started I'm a goth chick too. So I started mixing in like gothic undertones and stuff. So they never saw a style like mine. So they were like, whoa, like impressed, but it really was more like jealousy start coming into play. And since I was a busty girl too, and they weren't as busty as me, I got a lot of hate for that. I was told one time that I shimmied my chest too much or something. And then some of the women were uncomfortable. I'm like, you do know that a chest shimmy is one of the belly dance moves, right? Like,
right, yeah.
And one of our outfit pieces is a bra. So
right, yeah, yeah.
I mean,
I'm familiar with
what do you want me to do with my breasts? I don't know. You know what I mean?
I feel the same way because I'm not exactly small chested myself.
Exactly. So you get hate for that, so it's kind of weird or whatever. So it's nothing I can do about that. I can't. You know, so it was a lot of jealousy, but from older women.
Area for me to do that though. So
yeah, that's always a thing too. Like where I live in Carroll County, Westminster, which Carroll County, like, so like I don't know, they're art deficient. They have art deficiency or something.
That's kind of what happened. Like where? Well, I mean, honestly, I live like in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah,
like,
I feel you.
Go to the coffee shop. I have to drive 20 minutes.
Woo!
Yeah, a coffee shop. Yeah, exactly.
I moved a little bit closer to the Westminster City line because I'm getting a house built in a couple of years. So I downsized because the other house I was living in was literally like what you just said. It took me 25 minutes to get to anything. So don't have an emergency.
Yep. If we have to get to a hospital, our closest hospital is at least 25 minutes away.
Yep, that was me. So I knew with the hospital and everything, I had my bag packed for a while when I was pregnant. And it was like, so it was good that it was slow and I wasn't like, oh my God, the baby's coming. That I would have had the baby before I got there.
Worried about with my first one.
Mm-hmm.
Well, because the first one, they decided to induce me kind of like at the last minute. So it was like, the day I had a doctor appointment on Wednesday, and he said, I want you to go to the hospital tomorrow and get it checked in to get induced.
Yeah.
For my second one, I didn't have to worry about that because they knew like way, way, way ahead of time that they were going to induce me 2 weeks early.
Well, that helps.
I was like pretty sure I didn't have to worry. I didn't have to worry about like my water breaking and me having to like rush to the hospital with the second one. But the first one, I was like, what happens if my water breaks and we need to get there and we're like an hour away from this hospital? Yeah, but it didn't happen. So
it didn't happen. I know.
I avoided the rush to the hospital.
Oh my goodness! Like, when you live real far, you like, oh my God, I can't get to nothing, and babies.
Yep. Well, and that's kind of where I'm at right now because one of my New Year goals was to figure out my workout routine, and I know what I like to do. Like, I like to dance. I do Zumba.
Yeah, Zumba, man.
I love Zumba. Like, well, I mean, I would do other forms of dance if there was like anything close by that I could try to do.
I know.
But trying to find a Zumba class, like Zumba's like everywhere. The closest Zumba class is like 45 minutes away. It's like,
Lord, yeah, because what happens with the art world, they don't generally try to be in areas that's in the middle of nowhere and areas that's like ours. So even though I moved closer to the Westminster City line. I mean, I'm really air quoting with Westminster saying city line. That literally this means the area where there's all the shopping because they literally put everything in one spot to go shopping.
Oh, okay.
So it's like the entire stretch of 140 is all the shopping stores, and that is literally it. So I'm close to that now, but I wasn't before at all. But even though I've tried to teach at different places out here, I can't keep students because they don't, even know that there's any out here. Though I advertise, but it's just that this area just doesn't. They're frowned upon probably because it's belly dance too. They're like, oh, belly dance, watch out, like
Yeah.
I tried to go to the local gym in the community center and teach, but I had set up a contract and everything to teach there, and then use the auditorium or whatever they have there. They play basketball and stuff, but my breasts again.
Oh.
Yeah, they were like the women, they put my flyer in the gym and the women there complained that I had, like, it was too sexual. I kid you not. My flyer, I was in one of my fusion outfits that's like pirate style. And my cleavage, I had a peasant's top on. So my cleavage literally was like an inch showing at the top, which is way less than I usually show when I dance. And they were like, well, and I'm literally just doing this in the picture. And they're like, it's too sexual and we're worried about the kids seeing it possibly. And you have to put it in the female bathroom. I'm like, you're not putting my flyer in a bathroom.
Oh
it's not happening. So now they literally put all the flyers in there because they got afraid because of what I said when I called. I was like, you're not putting my flyer, because it was at the front desk at first. And like, you're not putting my flyer in the bathroom because that's insulting to my dance, first off. And you're trying to say like, what are you trying to say? I'm a prostitute? Like, am I a strip? What are you trying to say here? You know?
Yeah.
You know, so I see what's going on, but I'm like, these women come in the gym literally with almost nothing on to work out.
Like they
wear little teeny itty bitty cleavage. You think your husbands or boyfriends are going to see it and be like, is that what you think? Because I don't know. Like, you know, it's weird. People are just. So I told them, never mind, bye. So I was teaching at the art center, and then I was teaching at another holistic type center that's in Hampstead. But it's just not enough people for me to bother driving. So I only teach online now. So I teach like live classes so I can see my students or whatever. So I do that. Cool. Yeah. And then I teach like at my convention. I also have a big convention I'm a director of. And I throw that every year in Hunt Valley. So I get like belly dancers from around the world, and I can take all my master classes while I'm there running the whole thing. And then that's how I get other students and I teach there. But other than that, like, I don't have time for that. So no, bye.
Yeah, no time for you. In fact, I think Amber said that in the chat.
Yep, exactly. I'm going to check out the chat real quick. Let's see here. Oh, okay. I see Minx there. That would be Aphrodite. She said, still outside. She had behind Minx. She's so silly. That's her alter ego.
I did not even register that when I read that.
She's so funny. Oh my god. Okay, we have one other person in there. All right. I don't think he's just retracting his messages because maybe he was being silly. I have no idea. All right. It's a bunch of people that's probably just lurkers or whatever, but that's cool. I don't care.
That's okay. They can lurk.
They can lurk. I'm used to lurkers. I'm a belly dancer. Anyway.
You know what? I believe you.
I've had millions of marriage proposals and stuff. It's just ridiculous, to be honest with you. Like, seriously, dude, just because I'm a dancer, like, no, bye. Bye, Felicia, right now. Anyway, but yeah, so that's a pretty funny. Like, so just like I'll get back on the subject, the community for writers is just for authortubers and writers has been the opposite of what I came into when I became professional, and it's very refreshing. So anybody who's thinking about getting into it should definitely just go ahead. It's really, really good. Of course, every community has drama or people grow drama from wherever, but it's not as bad as a lot of other communities I've been involved in. So
yeah, I do feel like the author community is like, and author-writer community is super inclusive and like very supportive, which isn't something that you always come across in every.
You're very right. You don't.
Community. Like, I feel like people don't get jealous of other people in this community.
Right, which is like very surprising to me.
You sold more books than me, so I'm
like you.
You know what I mean? Like, that doesn't seem to happen, which is
thank goodness.
So nice.
Yeah, it's like thank goodness.
Here.
Yeah, I'm so happy about that because I got so tired of all the jealousies that I decided just to like make my own little world and dance. And that's why I made my convention for people who are being bullied and treated differently. And, you know, people want to talk about, because I came across so much of that and I was bullied myself. Like, I've been bullied by other dancers in my community online. Like, they tried to ruin my business and tried to just lie about me. I mean, when I was in my 20s, you know, I had an attitude too. And when I saw what they were doing, I didn't respond well. And I even like set a trap to find out who was talking about me on a live like forum. I set a trap for them and said I like learned from this teacher and this teacher, which was like a million miles away. Like, it was impossible for me to have learned from them, especially if you know my mother. She's like super protective. There was no way my ass was going to California. But I did this to set a trap for this very specific dancer that I had like a possibility of where it started from. And she fell for the trap, hook, line, and sinker. She was so upset that she did that she was just wouldn't let it go. Like, oh, you lied about your teachers. I'm like, first off, I lied to you on a public forum that I then, as an adult, apologized to anyone who saw it, because that's what adults do when they're wrong. You, however, just didn't want people to know you were a bully and that you were bullying, talking about me behind my back, talking about like, oh, she doesn't know nothing and blah blah blah, and other dancers were talking about you. Yeah, the ones who were intimidated by my cleavage, of course. So they were talking about me. Big surprise. And then so I don't enjoy people talking behind my back. If you don't like me or have something to say to me, say it to my face. I will respect that a lot more. You know.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
but that's not what was happening. And these are older women. These are supposed to be my peers, but they weren't acting like my peers. You know.
Right. Yeah.
So I was very like, oh, with that. So that whole crap, like I fell to their level type of thing in my mind. You know, I was in my 20s, and you get angrier easier when you're in your 20s. So by my mid to late 20s, I was over it. They weren't. They're still not over it to this day. Like they still literally like 12 years later still talk about it and get upset and be like, one woman said, well, you can't be in my meetup group because these other women who know the other woman who was involved in that other thing, that they don't want to be in my group if you're in my group. I'm like, you people are in your 40s and stuff. Are you serious with this? Okay,
Wow.
bye.
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye. So yeah,
Bye.
now I have my own convention and it's a big deal. So then people want to try to start, you know, coming around you and stuff like, oh, I can get some work. Yeah, no, I remember you. Bye. So no. Anyway, but yeah, I'm so happy that the writing community does not seem to have this poison in it and jealousies because a new person's coming on the scene. They're like, oh, everybody check this new person out. And I love all the tags that everyone comes up with to help each other and stuff and help each other grow, because we want to keep writing alive and keep, you know, the author world alive, because we need books in the world, you know. Imagination is such a powerful thing. So I'm definitely happy.
I need to hop on more tag wagons. I haven't done that yet.
Oh, you'll love them. Those are so freaking fun.
I only did the newbie Authortube tag or whatever it's called. I did that one.
Yeah, that one was fun. There's so many.
I know. I started looking and I was like, God, where do I start?
I'm like, oh no, I still have a bunch that I recorded that I have to edit and get out. So definitely feel your pain there.
I don't even know what to choose first.
I don't know. After the initial one, I just kind of like, I got tagged a lot by author Aphrodite Lee, which was really helpful for me to decide which ones to do.
Oh, well, yeah, that helps.
That helps when you get tagged. But you can just look through and see what tags there are. Like, I'm working on making my own tag too, so hopefully people are jumping on and doing that one. Hopefully I'll have it out before Valentine's Day. It's supposed to be really fun. It's going to be some kind of paranormal type of tag. So
I'm so hopping on that one.
Oh yeah, I know you are a paranormal writer. Oh yeah. I don't really need to introduce myself too much, but I kind of forgot to do that. But everyone, I'm author DL Tillery. If you didn't know, you're on my channel, so probably you do know that. But yeah, so you know me, you know my channel. You can go to my website in the link and check out my books that are coming. I have not debuted my first novel yet, but I am working on that. It should be getting to my editor around like late spring, and then hopefully have it launching at the end of fall or early winter. If you don't know the title, it is Chronicles of Cagliostro, Tales of the Libertin. That will be the first novel I have out, and I have plenty more planned. If you go to my website, you can see some of that on there, and I'm adding ones because I'm like a pre-planner. Obviously, I'm a plotter, so that's not surprising. I have my covers. Only cover I don't have actually is the cover for Chronicles of Cagliostro, because it's very, very, very near and dear. Some of my other ones already have covers and everything with them, but Chronicles of Cagliostro is actually the only one that doesn't. Actually, his art is being worked on as we speak by the artist. I saw some of the sketches. I'm in love with them. So she's going to be sending me those, and I'll be releasing those on my Patreon as soon as I get them back. And then I'll do a video here on YouTube on my channel as well. So that's what's going on right now. But we should jump in on a writing soon, I think.
Yeah, we're almost hitting a half an hour.
That's okay. We can chat for a good bit. So let's see. We were a little late getting in, but I think we're about hitting 20 minutes of chat if my time's right over there. But let's start at 55 with a write-in. We usually do 15 minutes.
Okay.
And then come back in. I might run until 10 o'clock tonight, depending on what happens with the 2-year-old. But at least want to do an hour and a half of the whole show. But I would like to run until 10 if we can. We'll see what happens. We both have kids, so we'll see. You know, the world does not revolve for us.
I warned my husband that this is where I would be from 8. I said 8 because I didn't know if it would be 8 or 8:30. So I just said 8. From 8 till 10. I said, you can handle it for 2 hours. I think you'll be
true. That works. So we're going to do 15 minutes. When we come back, we will do our first question of the evening. And yeah, so
what are you working on?
I was going to ask you that. I am going to probably still going to be editing, because what happened was when I finished Chronicles of Cagliostro, I actually went to start editing, and then revision happened instead. So I'm revising right now and then editing after that. So I've been revising and editing a little bit at the same time, but I've decided just to go ahead and do the complete revision because a lot of things changed. I had a aha moment when I was chatting with my older brother the one day. We're big video gamers in my house. And being a writer and talking to a video gamer is one of the best gifts that there is. I'm just saying. But yeah, I had an aha moment, and it completely just boom for the story. So I had to do a revision for some things. So that's what I'm working on tonight as well. So what do you have?
Okay. I'm actually working on the first draft of my 3rd novel. Woo! So I finished my outline last Wednesday.
Yeah.
And I outlined. I do outline. I can't pants.
Dude, I used to be a pantser. I'm glad I'm not anymore.
I've never tried. Even when I was young and I first started, I never realized I was a plotter because I didn't even know that was a thing back then. Yeah. I always outlined, and like I always did. So
I wish I had met you and Aphrodite a long, long time ago, and all the other writers I know here, because I needed to plot. I would have finished my book years ago.
Well, I always outlined, and it still took me quite a while to finish one.
I finished my book literally when I did a outline, because it was like half done. When I did the outline, I finished the book in like 2 months once I did the outline. And then I started outlining my other books. They're going to be done in no time once I'm done with this. It's like outlining was like, why didn't I do this before? You know,
like another aha moment.
Thank you. Another one. All right, we're at 8:55. We're going to start a write-in, and I will put in what the exact time, and I'm going to set an alarm for us. Okay. All right, so I'm going to count down 3, 2, 1, and write. Alrighty, and we're back.
Okay. That was a good session for me, actually.
Good, yay. Right, let me refresh this. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I got to figure out. I have no idea how many words I did.
Alrighty, I'm gonna refresh and see so I can get everybody, see what everyone did.
I think that was good for 50. That's amazing for 15 minutes for me, actually. Holy crap.
Write-ins are the best, I'm telling you.
They are. I really need to do them more often.
That's so help me finish my book. I'm not even playing, like, so I can make sure I got my writing time in.
Yeah,
yeah. Right now. So how did you do?
I got 296.
Awesome, Cake. Yay. I think, let me see what I got. I got about 315.
Wow.
Not too bad. Because I'm revising too. I'm like, oh, what am I doing this to myself?
Oh, I remember revising. Especially my first book. I realized that my first book, I revised a crap ton more than my second. But I think it was the first book that I actually like finished that wasn't like fan fiction or something. Yeah. So it was like my story. It's my story, and it was the first one I actually finished completely. And it had taken me like 6 years to finish it. So like,
fill it up.
Like I could tell at the beginning of the book, I was at a way different stage in life and age.
I know, right?
And I was at the end of the book, so like the voice didn't match at all. And I was like, I feel like these are two different books that just have the same characters in it.
I know. It's so
so it took a lot of revising. See, now my second book, it only took me like 9 months to write. So I was like, that one I didn't have to deal with like the, where it was like two different people writing the book.
Right. Oh my God. I know. I feel you. Because the longer you have the book and you're writing it, especially when you're like aging yourself, obviously you are. So you try to write it faster. You change. You change and you grow yourself. So then your book's going to do that. So
yeah, exactly.
The longer you hold it, it's going to transform. Just saying.
Right. Like that's what happened to me because when I started my first book, I was single and in college. And then by the end of the book, I was married with kids.
Wow, your whole perspective changes with that.
Yeah, like everything about my life was completely different.
Oh my God. Like,
that definitely affects your writing.
No lie. No lie. So I think when I started mine, I think I probably was like 24 when I started writing Chronicles of Cagliostro. It was not called that then. It actually used to be called Brain. His name was always Cagliostro, but it was called Rain because he started off as a vampire. Originally, he is not a vampire now. He's supernatural, but he's not a vampire. He's something all completely different. So he basically originally was going to start off as a vampire, and I have a lot of lore and stuff for vampires, and I always study vampires. Like I literally have like a whole entire vampire book collection. I have all the vampire movies that ever came out. I love vampire lore. So and werewolves I really love, which I think there need to be more werewolf stories. So I am working on one of those too. But it's definitely I know. I definitely transformed, so I definitely understand that. It's been a long time, and it's completely different than it is. And I'm a better writer now too. So that I was a pantser before, and I would just be like, because when I dance, I actually improv everything I do. So all of my performances are on the spot. I know my music, and I just do whatever comes out. No, everyone thinks I do choreography, but I don't. I'm just that in tune with my music. But so no one ever knows until I tell them. They're like, "What?" So only time I did choreography and I can do it well is when I had a troupe. So that was fun. But when I write, when I would write, I would be like, pants, do, just sit at the computer.
Whenever you got a bright
idea. I would just sit there and just write whatever came to me, which is fine. But it works well for my poetry. Obviously, I just pants poetry because to me, there's no other way to write poetry.
I wouldn't know how you would outline poetry.
Dude, that would be weird. It wouldn't be poetry. It would just be something else, like
I
a
think
story.
that,
It's like,
well, it
yeah,
depends
so
on how long your poetry is. I mean, technically, like the Odyssey is all poetry, and that's long. It's a long poem.
yeah, I'm just saying. Very, very true.
Well, I don't know. Maybe you have it outlined.
True. I mean, it's all kinds of poetry out there. I'm more like the rhythmatic poet, obviously. So my poetry always rhymes at some point or another. I prefer rhythmatic poetry. I don't really like poetry that doesn't have a rhyme and reason.
Right.
So
Where it
like
doesn't feel like
the
it has
stories, I mean, I like for people to read my poetry and come up with their own meaning, but I do want it to have a meaning. So when I write it, even if it does just come to me in most cases, but it always ends up having a meaning to it. So yeah, that I just I don't really care for the other kind of poetry, but there's plenty kinds for everyone, of course. So
yeah.
but yeah, that. So let's do the question before I forget and get too much in topic, because writing talk is fun. So
Yes, it is. That's very easy.
I'm gonna probably read I'm gonna read maybe some of the questions from last week that we had left over, since I don't exactly know the new ones that Aphrodite had up here. I had a question about one of them. I wasn't sure exactly what she meant, so I don't want to misconstrue it. So if she does pop back in, I'll ask her so when we do the next one. So let's go with what's the hardest part of the process for you in writing? So you go first.
The hardest part for me is probably editing. I'm gonna say it's probably editing, because I like coming up with the story, which is my outlining process, and then I like fleshing out that story, because that's kind of when I get to have fun with the characters.
Right.
During the writing process. And then like revising and editing, it's like I've already done all the fun stuff, and now I'm just trying to make it prettier.
Yeah, I get you.
Like, I don't even know what to call it. That's probably why I struggle with it so badly, because I'm looking at it like, what am I even supposed to be doing? Like, the story's here. What is wrong with it? Which is why I need my beta readers so badly.
I know. So I guess I'm going to probably be in this boat with you. So we may also just go ahead and start rowing down the river. So I don't. I think the process part of it I don't like is the editing process, because I actually enjoy coming up with the story. Like I have this process where I do my ideas, the steps before outlining. So all my ideas, my character bios, my world building, whatever that I have to do for the story before I get to the outline, I do all that first, and then I start building my plots for my characters and stuff like that, my subplots, and I have all that stuff before I even do my outline. So then I do my blueprint.
Another thing I love about outlining is that's when I get to do all of my characters' histories. I love coming up with backstory.
Oh yeah, I was big on that. So that I like you just said that I do mine before I do my outline. I do my character bios. I do that when I do their bios. So I'll do like, okay, their features, where they were born, what time were they born. Then I do their childhood. Their childhood is very important to my character development, because it helps me structure who they are as an adult. So when I do my character bios, I always do what kind of childhood did they have. That I actually ask myself that question. So actually asking yourself questions as a writer is like the biggest help in the freaking world. Like when I do my blurbs, I think Jenna Marissi came up with a whole system for blurbs that Aphrodite gave to me, and it helped me write my blurb in like 15 minutes. So
I'll have to check that out, because
I'll have to pass the questions along. You ask yourself these questions, and then you fill them out for your story, based to your story, and then it totally helps you write your blurb. And I was like, what the bleepity bleep? And I actually was able to use that to write 3 blurbs, because I bought this book series from this pre-made group that this chick has, and it's one of my angelic series. And I wrote a story because I saw this cover. Like I saw this cover and the story came to me, and I was like, yes. So I purchased it. I'm still paying it off because it's super expensive. So like $350.
So I've never had to deal with a cover artist.
Yeah, I would.
I love
him.
Who?
Todd Lockwood.
Oh, okay. I'll have to look.
He's the artist for.
I was looking for cover artists, and like I'd go through like portfolios. Oh,
Aphrodite! She made it.
Yay! Anyway, I was looking for a cover artist, and like I would go through like their portfolios of like their their pre-mades or whatever, and like nothing really popped for me. Like nothing really.
Yeah,
like,
you gotta find the right kind of artist. That's true.
Yeah, so like nothing really stuck out for me, and then a lot of times I'd be looking at them, and I'd be like, with a little learning, I could totally do this.
Well,
like,
actually, I'm starting.
Let me turn my light on. I'll be right back.
Okay, I'm starting my own cover business. So I'm starting a branding company because I've done advertising and I do web design and stuff. So I'm starting my own brand company in a couple of months where I do banners for you, flyers. I do your website. I do your digital business card. I do your logo because I do logo design already anyway. And then I'm going to do book covers as well. So I'm going to learn to do formatting because I need to for myself to begin with. So I'm just
that's like, kind of fun with me. Like I'm learning like all of the stuff that you need to learn when you're self-published. So you're wearing, you have to wear all the hats.
You should, because it costs less money.
Hiring it out to somebody. So
I'm like, it's always good to know how to do it yourself, regardless, even if you hire out.
That's right. He's right about that.
Because I can draw.
Learning curve.
Like I had people do avatars and stuff for me, but I know how to do them, so I know how to draw. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't have drawing skills. None.
I do draw too, but I'm also a clothing designer, so I do cosplay costumes and belly dance costumes for people and myself, obviously. Because again, I was a dancer, so that's the thing about learning how to do stuff yourself because stuff costs so much. So yeah,
nothing like in theater work. You have to be able to do your own makeup and costuming and stuff like that. So it's almost like a training center to be able to do anything if you do theater.
That's true. I was in theater for a little bit, but that's definitely a whole different world right there. Theater.
Whew. Oh my goodness, I'm so glad I made it.
yeah, we're happy you made it.
I'm glad you did too. I was wondering where you were.
We just did one of the questions from last week because I had a question for you about the questions you gave us to do this week. Oh. I wanted to make sure I understood the term you used so I wouldn't answer it wrong. Okay. It was the first one says, what trope did you smash in your current work in progress? Do you mean destroyed it? Or made it believable, or is that what you meant?
I meant destroyed it, but like wherever you would have taken it would have been cool too. Because I was thinking about rule breaking and that kind of thing as writers, and I'm trying to think of like 3 questions that are kind of industry rules, so to speak, but that we as artists break on purpose.
Okay. And so I get that. I'm with you on that.
For me, I broke that the parents are dead trope. Oh, the characters, you know how all your teen characters, they don't have parents. I smashed that trope. All of my kids have parents.
I didn't either. I did not know that.
Oh yeah. I mean, think about it. Think about everybody from Batman to Superman to Harry Potter. You know,
the parents
have parents. Got a point.
So they're either not there physically or like they're like there's like an issue. Like I know in Hunger Games the mother was there, but she was like useless basically. So like
our child
was basically taking care of herself and her sister, and the mother was just
take care of her mom.
I'm just here.
Yeah, exactly. So, now that you mention it, that totally is a trope in YA.
Because I mean, think about it. Harry Potter technically had parents because he had his guardians.
Yeah, they were
just left to fend for himself.
They were crap. They were just crap.
So it's always when you have like with Batman. Yeah, I mean he had Alfred took care of him, but he didn't have his bio parents.
He didn't have no parents really though. So still. And Superman's parents, they were like dead before.
Superman's parents blew up.
I'm sorry, but Superman's parents were stupid. Like, dude, you knew the planet was going to blow up, and you were like, well, I'm just going to agree with these guys. They said not to leave, so we won't leave, but I'm secretly going to send my son away. Like, why didn't you build the ship?
The mom was the one who was dumb in that, because she could have left too. And how she could send her baby alone to a planet.
Dude, if literally there is an alternate comic book with Superman where he did not get found by them, and he got found by like
Lex?
The government. He got found by the government, so they end up using him and making him a weapon. And he's like that Superman is more corrupt and like F you humans, I'm gonna take over. So he's a little different because he was taken by the government. They sent him down to that planet not knowing what he was going into. Like that, why wouldn't one of you go with them? But they both could have went. He was all diplomatic, like, yeah, they said none of us.
And initially they were saying that that Jor-El couldn't go because the ship couldn't make it to Earth carrying all three of them.
Well, that's what I'm saying. He built the
mama.
He already knew that was his theory anyway, that was coming. Like, he should have built a bigger flat, at least for the mother to go. Like, no, they were just being those crazy. They were being stupid.
It was stupid. It was stupid because when he realized that Krypton was in peril, and when he realized that if they weren't going to help to try to fix stuff, that he was going to send his wife and kid away, he should have made it big enough for him to go to.
Thank you. I was like,
if he had the forethought to do all that, he could have.
Well, I mean, we need to it's fiction,
right?
And apparently the writer needed to not have his.
You already know. We always got to do the thing, even though we like.
So, what trope did you smash? Any tropes?
Did I smash any trope? I don't know. Like, I guess maybe I smashed the insta love trope, maybe only because, like, even though Cagliostro is drawn to Allison, probably because of my revision, I'm changing it a little bit. They grow to love each other, but
so insta lust.
Insta lust. That's what it should be called, because it can't be nothing else. But I think I smashed that because now with my revision, I'm making it where they're going to grow to love each other, even though Cagliostro was drawn to her for reasons and such, and her situation probably too. But I'm making it where their relationship grows. So I didn't, even though it's based around vampires, and most vampire stories, there's always this insta love that they do. Or insta lust, we should say. Always with vampire stories specifically. Also because really, I don't think necessarily that needs to be crushed in a paranormal romance, because they're supernatural beings. First off, they're not going to think like humans. They're not going to see things as humans. That's also a thing too for people to remember. They're like, I don't like insta love and I don't like blah blah blah. I'm like, these are supernatural beings. They've been alive for thousands of years. You think they need some time? I'm sorry, I need 5 months and then I can kiss you. Like, they're not thinking about crap like that. Like, they're not thinking human issues. You know what I mean? So I wasn't trying to crush it, but I possibly could have. So I'm not going to say I have.
You may have also crushed the love triangle too.
I might have, because mine's a little bit different with the way I have Allison and Catherine in the story, and then Cagliostro being they both were his love interests, but in different time periods. But he still cares for Catherine, but she's in a setting where she can't communicate, but he feels responsible for her still, and responsible for why she's the way she is right now. So he still is drawn to her in a caring way, but he's fallen in love with Allison, and that's very conflicting for his emotional state, because he feels guilty about it deep down as well, because he's like, I did this to her. I don't want to be like, I'm falling in love with someone else. But I mean, Catherine's a brat. I'm not even trying to like she's a brat. Like, I want what I want, blah blah blah, and you love me, say to me type of attitude. So whatever to her. But so it's a love triangle to some, but it's gonna be a different type of love triangle. There's no cheating involved. Like, I know a lot of people say they hate that, and there's no, like, he knows he's falling in love with Allison, but he does feel responsible for Catherine. So technically she's not like in the way or his ex type of thing. They never got the chance to mentally end anything, though they were in an argument type of state when she got in her coma state, but you learn that early in the book. So I'm not like, oh, I'm not doing these spoilers.
You're not spoiling it.
No, but you learn that early in the story anyway. But she's in the story for quite some time. But there's things that happen in the book, and then she doesn't really come into play a big deal until the second book. But more of that later.
Right. So you got little Easter eggs in the first one. I love that kind of stuff.
First one. All right, your turn. So which one you think you smashed, if any?
If you smashed any.
I think the one that I probably smashed the most, I guess would be like I know especially in like vampire and shifter romances, like the alpha male is really popular.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I have like, they're in a very alpha male role. Like they're in a very like powerful position where you would think they would act like the typical like possessive he who your mind type of person. But the thing is, the male leads in my books aren't like that at all. It's actually it's my female leads that are a lot more like that.
Oh, I like that.
Which is
cool.
odd because my the female leads in my first two books actually start out as slaves. So they're in the most least powerful position you could be in.
That's cool.
And yet, like, you're seeing how the shift of power is starting to go from male to the female that started with absolutely no power at all to begin with.
I love that. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's cool.
I love the whole idea of you having your alpha male not being the quote unquote traditional alpha. I love that.
No, yeah, and the thing is, like, he has, like, you could tell from his position that that's the type of person he should be. It's just when he's dealing with the love interest, he's not like that. Like, he realizes that this is a person, which is something that needs to happen because we are dealing with women who are starting out in slavery. So I felt like the female leads need to understand that these are people, and that means that they're allowed to make their own choices. It can't just be like, well, fate has told me that you're mine, and so you are mine. So
all right, I get it. I like that. I love the idea of that.
That's good. It's cool. Yes, I guess we're all smashing a whole bunch of tropes. Apparently.
I was really proud of the whole, all my kids in the book, their parents are alive. I actually killed siblings off instead of parents.
That's different because they usually just kill off the parents in most cases. I think in my book, Allison's mother got killed. She didn't know her father, and Cagliostro, I mean, his parents got killed.
We know about him.
He's thousands and thousands of years old, so that's kind of irrelevant. They'd be dead probably. Then again, they were supernatural too, so they probably wouldn't have been dead if they weren't killed. But yeah, that's another tale for another time.
Here you go. In my only YA book that I've ever written, I went straight up cliche. She ain't got no parents kind of. I went there. Well, actually, I mean, technically she has a father, but because he's not actually taking care of her, she's away in school being taken care of, like Harry Potter, that someone else is looking after her. So she's on her own. All these kids, it's 4 kids, they're on their own. So
that's always hard, man. That's hard. All right, we're gonna start our next writing sprints at 35. So we have 1 minute. Aphrodite, did you want to introduce yourself since you're just getting in?
I'm so sorry. I'll explain to you about my kids later, but
that's cool.
Girl, anyway.
You understand about kids, it's all good.
We didn't even make it to a store.
What?
Girl. But anyway. So hey everybody, I'm Aphrodite Lee. I'm trying to think of I have a book out under my naughty girl name Mace Kenosha.
Links are below.
Called Encounters. Pick it up. But just understand that it is very dirty book. It's erotica to the hilt.
It is. This is true.
But my main passion book is coming out in April called Shattered. So check out my channel. You get to hear more information about that one.
That's a good title. I like that title.
It's look. If you read the book, a lot of people were telling me like, why would you name this book Shattered? I don't get it. And then they read the book and they were like, oh, I get it.
Now I get it.
It's
Right?
Shattered.
It's really good. It's really, really good. I beta. I'm an alpha, but I beta read it. Yes.
Oh.
Very, very, very good book. Oh my gosh, can't wait till it to come out. All right, so let's start our writing. I will count us out. We will be back at 9:50, and then we'll do another question, and then I guess we might have to finish out because if any of us have to go at 10, then unless you want to try to fit another one in, we can. It's up to you, you know.
But I'm gonna turn off my mic and stuff so that
I type really loud, so I usually
I'm a banger. I am.
I love that term. That's great.
All righty.
All right.
I'm gonna count you out. 3, 2, 1, and right. See you in 15.
What, are you going to take my spot? Oh, Emily. Lay down. Lay down, Emily. Ow.
Okay, and we're back.
Hello,
Oh, boy.
hello.
How'd everyone do?
Well, considering I was interrupted halfway through, I did pretty good.
I was gonna say you got kids. Forget about no interruption.
Yeah, that's true.
I've written
Oh,
many a
man.
chapter with a baby on my shoulder. One
Yeah.
hand tight.
Been there, done that already. Sometimes
I've
you
done that with
get
my
into-
son in the chair where he's sitting next to me and I'm
Oh.
trying to type around him.
I know that when my door's like tap, tap, tap. I'm like, no.
Yeah, that's what happens to me. He's like, I'm going to do that.
Hi, bug. She woke up finally. She doesn't care about me. She only cares about my books. You gonna mess with it? You gonna turn to the library and go ahead?
I was reformatting my ebook.
Yeah.
Oh, that's always fun.
Yeah.
No,
It-
it's not.
I pretty much, because I created like a pseudo template,
Mhm.
I almost got it down to a science, but you know how that shit is. It doesn't ever 100% work correctly.
Never.
You got to go in and finagle it.
I think so.
But now I just have 5 scenes that I have to drop in. So I'm hoping that just drop them in doesn't upset the carriage, you know. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. It depends on how you got it set up, I guess.
Yeah, I definitely. It took me a couple days to get the template to work to where I can just start putting stuff in it and it wouldn't do some crazy shit.
Yeah.
And realign, and then KDP tells you, "Oh, that won't work," but
Yeah.
like I got it now.
That happened to me too when I was trying to get my first book to work. I went through like so many freaking tutorials on YouTube. It was ridiculous.
Oh my god, I have a playlist. I have to create a playlist.
I don't think I even want to do. I don't want to do my formatting. I'm gonna have to get someone else to do it.
The only reason, and you're right, because I'm not doing the formatting for my book. The only reason I'm doing this is in case it falls through and I have to. So it's like, let me at least know how to do it if somebody doesn't do what they said they're gonna do, because I'm on a time crunch. Like I have today is I have like 6 days left.
Yeah, you did.
I can make it as long as nothing goes wrong.
Right.
Yeah.
I've cut it that close before.
Oh my god! Like I will never ever do this to myself again. Ever.
I told myself after my first book that I wouldn't do it to myself again, and guess what? Second book, I was just like close to it again.
Oh no! I learned my lesson. I only got fall in my head once.
Oh no!
And I'm getting ready to do it all over again because I'm determined to publish this book, this third book, by the end of April, and I just started drafting it on Friday.
Girl.
Oh no! I feel you. Look, my whole challenge for this book,
is
to get the idea for it, outline it, write it, proof it, and all that stuff in 14 days.
14 days? You're crazy! Like,
but it was a challenge because it's only a novella. I said I write enough where I could do it. I will never
do it again.
Do this to myself again.
It's really good too. I can't wait to read it.
I am so not ready for that kind of hard deadline. Holy crap!
I'm not doing nothing like that.
No.
I'll do that sometimes.
I think I've given myself 70 days to write my first draft, which will give me 3 weeks to revise and edit, and then like my formatting usually doesn't take me more than a few days, which is why it always comes so close to the deadline.
I'm still reading about formatting, so
that's why I created the template for the formatting.
Yeah,
for the paperback and for the ebook.
Yeah, I did the same thing. I use Microsoft Word, so I have one file that's set up for my ebook that I can just copy and paste it in each chapter. Like I have my speech breaks and all that stuff in it, so that all I have to do is take my chapters from Scrivener and just paste them right into the chapter in my Word document. And then I have another file for my paperback formatting. So that all I have to do is copy and paste.
It changed my life though, doing that way.
Yeah.
More power to the both of you. I'm not formatting nothing.
Well,
somebody else is doing that. I'm sorry.
I decided that even though I hate formatting, I absolutely despise formatting. But the reason I decided I wanted to format it myself is because with self-publishing, sometimes you end up going back and like a lot of times at the end of the book, you're going to put in like a plugin for your newsletter sign up or, ask for reviews or, whatever you're going to like change what you're asking the readers to do.
Right.
Your links might change, or you might have like a link to like, if you have a pre-order up for your next book, like if you're a prolific writer, so you're publishing like every 2 or 3 months, you can have a pre-order in the back of the book saying, click this link if you want to check out the next book in the series and purchase it. But that means that you're going to need to go in and change the links every time you come out with a new book. And I didn't want to have to deal with paying my formatter to reformat the book to change those things every time things
exactly. And that's why at least know how to do it. But then I got you covered.
Yeah, I know.
I have a template that I can give you.
Okay.
And how I did it.
You had to tell me how you did it so I can learn. I'm still learning. I was reading about it. I'm like, you know my mentality.
But as soon as
I can hire somebody to do something, I will.
You will figure it out as soon as you see the template. And then
I'm sure.
What I did was I made it a 10-chapter template instead of just doing one. That way you can pull out the lipsum, the lorem ipsum stuff and just drop the stuff in. And it'll automatically play, because the one thing that drives me the craziest about book formatting, because the ebook is way different, but the paperback is because on your chapter pages you don't want footers and headers, so you don't want numbers on it, and you don't want all that stuff doesn't go on that page. So each time you do a new chapter, you got to make sure that stuff is backed out. So I it was driving me crazy. I said, you know what? I'm not going to do this to myself. I'll just create a template where it's backed out already.
Well, there you go. That's smart.
And so, and like it's a game changer.
Well, let's do one more question. And do you guys have another write-in in you? Do you want to do one to run over 10? Are you good? Want to do another one?
I'm good for however, if you're good.
Yeah, I could do one. I could do one more write-in. I think my husband got my kids in bed all by himself.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so I think I'm good.
All right, let's do this question, answer it, and then we'll do it right now. Okay. So I think this was a cool one. This is from last week, Aphrodite, that we had leftover questions. How do you feel about fans taking your characters and creating their own fiction? Whoever wants to go can go first.
Are we
I already
talking
know my take on
fiction?
that. Yeah.
Fan fiction.
Fan fiction. I don't think I'd have a problem with that, but I kind of can't have a problem with that because I wrote fan fiction, so that would be really hypocritical of me.
I suppose it would be.
Totally.
You're kind of stuck in one place with that one.
Well, honestly, I'm looking forward to it, because if I get so big and recognized that people are making fan fiction with my characters,
that's how I feel. I'm like, take my characters and make new stuff, then obviously I'm doing something right. So
one of my stories, like my stuff isn't out there. Very few people are reading my stuff. Like DL has everything that I do. And then certain people who were doing artwork for me have the stories. And I got people shipping characters already. I almost fell backwards out of the chair. I was like, you hooking up who with who? Oh, I better not tell my betas, because they're not going to be happy with that.
I'll be like, what you do? You better not be putting nobody with Chase. Punches.
You know, everybody want Orchid with Chase.
Oh, there we are.
I'm sorry, but he don't get nobody. How about that? I'll give him something. A punch in the face.
The one kid who did my Bianca de Mouton series artwork.
Yeah.
Shipping all those characters already, and then, oh my goodness, it was, oh well, is this one? Then she actually wants to do artwork with them in the shipped, like the who she hooked them up with.
Oh
And I'm
Lord.
like, girl, you are
Tell
so
her to relax, man.
and
No.
you are so wrong. And they was like, but what about this one? And what about that one? And who does this? And I'm like, Chase don't get nobody. Chase don't deserve nobody. Don't get nobody.
He's the devil.
That's what people said about Malfoy, and somehow
I like that devil.
you said that about Malfoy too. And I saw fan fiction out there where they even gave Malfoy Hermione.
Like, you know what though? Malfoy was a puppet, and he was just as mistreated and trying to put on that front.
True enough.
Chase, if you want to read about him,
there is no saving grace for that man.
Chase is a certified asshole.
There's no saving grace for that dude.
I would feel that way if I had a fan that said, I want to hook somebody up with Jackson, like Jackson deserves somebody. I'd be like, Jackson don't deserve nobody.
Right.
Everybody has that character.
What world are you living in that you think that man deserves a woman? Because he doesn't.
I feel the same way about my Baron character too. But Baron is more charismatic. The reason why Baron gets over and gets so many girls is because he really doesn't care. And he literally, like, it's a running joke with the story. Like, every time you see Baron, Baron's sister with you know, and her best friend, is a different girl every time. So like, he doesn't care. He is never going to have a shortage of girls to sleep with.
He's one of those guys.
But Chase, on the other hand, desperately wants love. He can't
give it right. He's poison. He's fucking poison.
Yeah, he's a doomed person. I almost feel sorry.
If you put him in water, you drink it, you die. Poison.
I had people who were auditioning for different parts this weekend.
Yeah,
and they would read the stuff and then they would just stop and they were like, well, excuse me, I have a question. I'm like, okay, yeah, sure, go ahead. What's the question? And they're like, what's wrong with Chase?
He's crazy. And see, everyone knows right away something's not wrong with him. Something's really, really, really wrong with that guy.
What's going on in this thing?
Like, seriously.
That's how bad he is. I have fuck Chase t-shirts.
Yeah, well, good. He's a bastard. But I don't know about myself for fan fiction. I mean, if someone made fan fiction based off my stuff, I guess I'll be like, okay. But underneath, I'm be like, yo.
You could be like, they mine.
Don't be mixing my people with my other people when they don't deserve to be with that person. Like, I'm not gonna be cool with that. Like, if somebody was like, oh well, I like fan fiction, Polyastros with Cat, I'm like, what you say?
Oh no, you know what?
Gotta rewrite that right now.
Oh, yeah, someone's gonna do it. Like, that's the whole point of fan fiction. Like,
I know, but I'm not like, I don't really do fan fiction too much, so I'm be like, I don't know. I might be weird about it. I'll probably allow it to be whatever. It is what it is. People do it. You know, it's
people are going to take Cagliostro.
But I'm not going to like it, though.
And
I'm just saying.
Hook him up with somebody that's not even in their book.
Right.
Yeah, well, like, that's whatever, I guess.
Cagliostro should be with Bianca de Mouton. Even though
he's
14.
That's fine.
They're gonna do weird.
I don't care about that so much.
Right.
But if they start changing the structure of my character, I might be a little annoyed. But I'll be annoyed over here, and they'll be over there doing their thing. I'll be like,
my favorite kind of fan fiction is the kind where not where you ship the characters or anything, but when you put yourself into the story. Like, because I put myself in Supernatural all the time.
Oh, well, yeah.
That's my favorite kind.
No. Please tell me,
pretty good,
girl. Please just tell me this.
Girl, I hang out with Sam and Dean on a regular.
Oh boy!
I'm trying to catch up to my husband. He's like 4 seasons ahead of me, and I'm only on season 6. He's like, we need to finish this season before they pull it off of Netflix. And I'm like, I'm trying. Okay, it's a really long show, and as much.
Dude, I'm a big super. I've watched all Supernatural, and then when it got later in the series, like. I can't tell you where I was, but I just got really upset and annoyed. I'm like, who are these writers? What are they doing? I'm like complaining because I've been watching it all the time, like complaining like they can hear me or something, you know. But
I think my malfunction is
I still love it.
I don't care what's going on because I'm such a horn dog, thotty girl that all I need is to see Jared Padalecki walking around back and forth on screen.
I'm more into I'm into Dean. Like that's my
I'm a Dean girl all the way.
Dean.
My mama's man.
Dean,
My mama loves
Here's my
Dean
thing.
is Dean in his car.
I'm
Like,
a
Dean
firm believer that show would fall apart without Dean.
That's right.
Oh, yeah, it would fall apart without if you took any element of it out. But Jensen Ackles,
Dean.
my mama loved Jensen Ackles. See, my mama been in love with this boy since he was a boy. He was on the soap opera.
He's a cutie. He always was. I'm just saying.
And then he went to another what's the I can't think of the girl's name, but he was on another show, a fantasy show, before he got this part.
I forget, but I'm sure I've seen it because I've seen it.
The girl was real pretty. Oh, it's gonna come to me when we get done.
Of course, but I remember what you're talking about. I can't remember the name of it right now, though.
My mom loved that show. That little girl tickled her to death. I'm like, she's not being funny. She's being a smart ass, and that's what tickled my mom.
Poor Padalecki, though, like he can't really get that many roles because he's so tall that they don't want to get him to play any roles. That's what he was complaining about.
Jared was in Gilmore Girls.
Yeah,
he was in Gilmore Girls.
No, but
I know he was. I think he was only in. I think he was in first.
And Jared is taller than him.
Yeah.
Because Jensen went up for the part of Sam, not Dean.
Well, he played Dean perfectly.
They gave anyone the little brother role, and he wound up getting the Dean role.
Well, I love Dean. Dean in that car. I'm like,
I'm gonna say the cast director made the right call.
Oh,
yes, I agree.
Yeah, because we didn't even audition for that part.
Oh, did we say how many words we got this last sprint?
Yeah, we got one more sprint left.
No, I mean, how many words did we get in the last sprint?
I don't know. What did you get?
I didn't type anything. I was realigning stuff.
Oh yeah, you're commenting. I got 349.
Oh, good.
That's good.
Okay.
I did better during my interrupted sprint than I did on my uninterrupted sprint.
That's funny, right?
That is pretty funny.
You like imagine if I hadn't got interrupted.
You were on a mission.
My word count be then. That's hilarious.
Clearly, you were on a mission.
Let me see. I did remember my word count, but I don't have to check now because.
Oh damn! Y'all got me thinking about Jared now. I have a friend who knows him.
So what? I'm thinking about Dean.
I don't know anybody who knows Dean. I know somebody who knows Jared.
I did know like a 323. So I had about 700 and something words tonight. So maybe I can get 1,000 to 1,000 before we finish out.
I actually already got to like 2,000 earlier today, so this was all like gravy for me.
Yeah, really.
Yesterday, because yesterday I didn't hit my word goal.
Yesterday, yeah, I barely did 1,000 yesterday, but that 1,000 that I did do was a completion of something. So I technically finished my task.
Yeah, I think that's the more important thing. Is more about especially when you're getting to the end of something. I think it's better to be like, I want to finish this book or I want to finish this chapter or whatever, rather than saying like, I want to write 1,000 words today.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's easier to kind of have I'm going to write this chapter today, or I'm going to write this scene today.
Right, and that's what I'm doing. That's all I'm doing right now. I have 5 scenes that I have to write, and they were heavy, which is why I didn't want to write them while I was going through, because it was going to interrupt my flow. So I said, I'll just write the 5 scenes all at once. So that's all I have left to do. I can do it in like the next 3 days. I'll be happy.
Yay.
And I'm pretty sure I can. It's just that we don't even want to talk about my life right now. Thank God I have writing.
I'm so glad I am where I am, where I'm kind of still in the beginning stages of the writing, and I'm not in the holy crap, I'm down to like my last 2 weeks, and I really need these edits done, and I need to do all your crap yet. So glad I still have like 2 or 3 months ahead of me before I feel that way.
Man. Yeah, before you get to that. I'm in a revising editing, so feeling the pain.
I'm not a fan of that stage.
I still have to send my novel out to my alphas for proofing, and that's happening in a couple of days.
You know how fast I read, so it's okay.
Oh yeah. and I think Jennifer will knock it out too. Yeah. I might send it back to a kid who read it already and see if they can find errors, because what I sent to him had errors in it.
Yeah.
So like I absolutely refuse to do that kind of stuff while I'm writing. Even though with this particular one I'm doing right now, I was a little bit more careful because I don't want to go through the big redo process with it's 14 days, but that is it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You have to give them a deadline, or those will take forever.
Bring it here. I don't know.
Right. So with Shattered, I started Shattered last year, and I gave myself 5 months to get the draft done. Yeah. And I got it done in half that time. Ooh. But honestly, like I did not imagine that I would.
Right.
I literally gave myself 5 months.
I have a feeling that would happen to me if I finished this draft early, because I've never drafted a novel in, less than 9 months, which is what it took to draft my second book. Now I'm deciding that I'm going to cut that in like a quarter.
And see, that's where the difference comes in, Nichole, because I gave myself from this time to this time, and then I stopped for it, and it got done.
Yeah.
As opposed to all my life, all I do is I just write the story. Like as it comes to me, I'm writing it. I never gave myself a deadline until last year, and last year was the only time I finished a book.
Yep, and I didn't give myself a deadline for finishing books until this book that I'm working on right now. Before it was, I just kind of finished the book and then
finished it.
Yeah, I finished. See, the thing is, I finished my first book like, I bet you it was probably like a year or 9 months before I actually published it.
Yeah. How long is it?
Huh?
How long was it?
It was 55,000 or something like that. It was like right in that, like, is it a novella or is it a novel? You know what? I don't know. It's whatever it is.
Right. Exactly.
Whatever.
I mean, if it's not fantasy or sci-fi, you don't really have to push that number that high, because most like deep fantasy, or mostly I should say sci-fi, or those ones is like you gotta be 100,000 words or 90,000 words or some craziness. Right. No,
mine won't even be that. I only have like I write paranormal fantasy, paranormal erotic fantasy stuff, and they're never really. They don't go over like 400 pages, which is a lot. But my actual fantasy stuff that you would think that would be long, they're not gonna be.
No, I'm not into that. I have a series first off, so I think when I finished Chronicles of Cagliostro, it was in at like 56,000 words or something like that. And now that I'm revising, it's getting a little bit longer because I'm adding in all the detailed stuff that I didn't put in. So I'm thinking it's going to end up around like 62,000 words or something like that once it's edited by me. And then I have to go to my editor, obviously. But I told her about 62,000 words to edit or whatever. But it's still going to be, I think that's a decent size for that. Yeah. I don't really care for that, especially for a series. I don't think I need to make it where it's like excessively. I can put more into one book, but I wanted to end it a certain way. So
see, I'd rather have 6 or 7 books than to have 2 or 3 big giant ones.
Yeah, because I'm into big books. Like I will read 1,000-page something book. Like I will do that. Like I'm an adamant reader, and I'll finish multiple books a week on most good weeks for myself. But now I'm a little bit slower with that because I'm writing so much. But I'm okay with other people doing that. But
I can't do it. I can't read big books. And I shouldn't say I can't. I read big books. But what happens with me is, if I take on a big book, I read very slow.
Oh, do you?
So, and I'm one of those. I'm a rereader. Like I'll read something. Then she touched his neck and so and such and such, and I'll go back and reread that. I'll be on the same page forever. Like I am not a good person. I'm not a good reader.
Well, I don't think necessarily a bad reader. I mean, I think a bad reader doesn't pay attention.
But you know what I mean?
The whole point.
Somebody was like, this book, you get a novel, a 270-page novel, and people knock that out before they go to bed. I will be reading that book for like 7 days.
See, I get a really good book, it's over. Like I can't sleep. Like I read a lot of J.R. Ward, and I read what's her name? Christina Faheen and stuff like that. Like when I get one of their new books, and especially if it's connected, like the other characters that were in the book is now their turn for the love interest for them, and I'm like, oh my god, I've been waiting like so long. I will not sleep. I will not sleep. And then that 300, 400 page book is over in a night.
And see, my husband used to make fun of me for that because I'm
not a good reader.
Light on, and he's next to me snoring, and then I'm up to like 3 a.m. finishing this book because I have to finish the book.
I can't go to sleep. I can't sleep.
And then he and my husband, I mean, he reads too, but he's the kind of person that he will like religiously get in bed and read a chapter. One chapter, that is it. He closes the book and he goes to bed. It doesn't matter if it's the beginning, the middle, or the end of the book. It does not matter. It is one chapter.
That's me.
I can't do that. Then
I gotta know what's happening.
The most I think I have read one book in my entire life from the beginning, from cover to cover, without stopping, and I was 19. I still remember, and it was I have the book over there somewhere. It was the only time I ever did it, unless it was a school assignment. Mm-hmm. Other than that, I'll read a chapter or two. The thing is with me, because I have mental brain craziness, if I actually read, I'll fall asleep.
Really?
So I can't stay up anyway. Even if I'm enthralled, I'll wake up with the book on my boobs because I fell asleep holding it.
Not me. My eyes will be like blood red, man. I'll be like.
Honestly, I don't think it helps that I'm naturally a night owl. So
me too. Oh my gosh, because I have to go to work.
I naturally want to stay up late, even though I know I shouldn't. I want to. So if I open a book when I'm going to bed, my brain thinks, "Oh yay, we're gonna start a book!"
Oh my god! I wish mine did that.
What is that? A juicy part? It's over.
I can't watch TV for long. If I'm sitting on, because I'm very much addicted to YouTube. If I'm watching YouTube and I'll have a couple tabs up to watch videos. The next thing I know, I'm waking up with my finger on the keyboard because I fell asleep. I do not. I have some form of narcolepsy or something.
Sound like it. Maybe a reading narcolepsy.
If I sit still, I fall asleep.
I have a really hard time going to sleep if there's any if I have a book because it's stimulating, I guess. Like it's stimulating my brain waves.
Yeah.
Or if I'm watching TV, like the only time I could watch TV is if it's like Forensic Files and I hear like that voice. As soon as I hear the Forensic Files guy
set off bombs during an earthquake, and I
can go to sleep. Anything else, there's no way I'm going to sleep with it on. Like if I turn Supernatural on, no way am I going to sleep.
Oh my god!
I was gonna say like when I'm watching a series, when I'm
watching Supernatural.
It's over.
I can't do it. I can't do it.
If I'm watching this TV show that I'm really into, and I'm like binge watching it, there's no sleep happening.
Oh, girl,
there's no sleep happening. And I'm an old anime Japanese anime fan. I used to watch series nonstop till I finished it. Like I'm not. No, I have to. Once stuff starts, it's over.
Excuse me. I fall asleep watching anything that I binge.
No,
it don't matter.
Like me and my older brother binge watched Lucifer because we hadn't watched it was on regular TV.
Yes, that's my boyfriend.
Oh, I love him.
I have to start that series. I'm trying.
I'm like the devil so misunderstood. Like
I just like, honest to God, I just like when he gets mad and somebody go, "Oh my God!"
Game of Thrones. Like
I did start that one, but I haven't finished it.
Game of Thrones. Snow. No.
Jon Snow. That's my other boyfriend. I got a lot of boyfriends.
You got a lot of boyfriends, girl. I'm just saying.
I'm friendly.
Yeah, okay. All right, we should do our last write-in so we can get the last 15 minutes.
Oh my God.
Check out. And that means we will be back at what time we got right now? 10:20. So we'll be back about 10:36. See what we can do. I will count us down. And let's go.
Oh my God, 10:36. Okay.
2, 1, and right. right, and we're back. Living past.
Only by a minute.
I wasn't paying attention.
Oh no, I got a little into my scene, so.
It happened.
So how you do?
I was just looking over some obvious mistakes in the manuscript, but that's it. Excuse me.
Okay.
How'd
you go? How'd you do?
What'd you get?
I got. Let me see here. Starting number was. I got 354.
Yeah, I got 327.
Yay!
Yay!
Yeah.
I think anyway in the 300 mark is like getting
Right.
done, man. Sometimes I do these write-ins. When I was on Sarah's channel, I'll be like, sometimes I get 500 and something. I was like, man, I gotten one time when we did. I think we only did 3 sprints or something. I think I ended up with like 1,400 words from the one sprint. So I was like happy with that. It really did help me finish my novel faster than I probably would have without doing my write-ins with them. So.
Yeah, I love the whole thing because writing being such a solitary thing anyway, it's just kind of fun, even though you're working on your own stuff, to be writing with somebody else.
Yeah, that's really cool, I think. So.
Yeah, but I mean, and I'm a stay-at-home mom, so I'm at home with a 2-year-old all day. So
yeah, really.
Yeah, so
sometimes
I enjoy the being able to actually talk to other adult human beings.
Right. I remember that because I felt like I had a damn daycare. I only have one biological child, but people know that I'm a baby person, so they just drop their kids off, ease them in, and then they don't come back.
Here you go, Aphrodite. Here's a kid.
Like they were leaving for 2 or 3 days at a time. I keep forgetting, DL. You know half the people I'm talking about. I had Rachel one time for 3 months.
What?
She was 2 years old. She got kicked out of her house, and she had to come live with me.
Oh,
her parents visited
3
her.
months. What? Wow. That must. Yeah. Okay.
No, you don't know. I saved Rachel's life.
Apparently.
She
get kicked out at 2, man.
Two. She got kicked out. The last time she got kicked out, she was 8. So from the time she was able to walk until about 8, she was constantly living with me.
I'm sorry, but her parents are okay.
Then you just don't know. The Rachel.
I used to be like, yeah, I'm tired of you, kid. Time for you to go to somebody else's house. She's like, no.
No, but Rachel was evil. Kim got 4 kids. Rachel, the only one, got kicked out.
No, Lord.
Rachel was a mess, and apparently I'm the only person she would listen to. Which to this day I still don't understand. It's not like I was mean and hooting and yelling at her.
How do you kick out a 2-year-old?
Oh, you just
Kim is something else. I don't even. No, I know Kim, and
she's possible.
I don't know. Well, that's what I said. You got it. 2-year-olds can be really, really, really crazy sometimes.
There's something wrong with Rachel.
Okay, they just listen. They just don't listen all the time. They just, they're learning. So you just have to know how to deal with it, or you learn to.
2-year-old.
Oh, that's not. Most 2-year-olds aren't what perceived as normal. They're just wild or evil, as some call them, or whatever. But they're 2-year-olds. Like, you're the adult. Deal with it, man. Like,
yeah, that's kind of how I feel. It's like you can't blame the 2-year-old.
I still would be like, I have to know where my kid is. There's no way I could be like, no.
And I've been teaching and all sorts of stuff for 150,000 years. And I've dealt with kids with everything from mental disorders to physical ones, the average kids, the smart kids, and quote unquote not smart kids. And all those kids, I agree with you. Rachel was special. I'm telling you.
Funny.
Rachel, I can't.
Yeah, but the thing is, you dealt with her though.
Right.
That's the thing. Like, that's
definitely more tolerant than some people. So
yeah, but no, if you're a parent, you gotta learn tolerance, or you're going to drive yourself crazy, or drive your kid crazy, or whatever. You gotta. I don't really tell anybody to enter parenthood lightly, because it's a thing that you have to know, have patience. Because if you don't have patience, you better damn sight learn.
Yeah.
Because you're going to be moving up on the wall like a nutbag. Because, yeah.
I'll tell you quick. I had people who was like, well, I don't want kids. I say, don't have them then.
Yeah, thank you. Don't.
Do not. You are right.
Don't ruin a human being so they have to come out to the world and mess with everybody else. Like,
because on your best day, taking care of a child is still hard.
It is. It's right
for the molding of somebody that got the dingo outside.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
we don't want no more Hitlers. We don't want no more Donald Trumps.
Don't be releasing people. We don't need you to release the Kraken on the world. Stop. No.
So I think that I honestly think I was supposed to be in Rachel's life.
Well, yeah, some people are born into our lives for a reason.
Ain't no telling what y'all would have got without me. I'm just gonna say it because that girl was.
Yeah, I like Rachel too. I think she's kind of cool.
Yeah, Rachel's a fabulous adult.
I think she's cool.
She is, like when she, you know how teenagers get to that point, then they lose their minds. Rachel didn't. She went the opposite. She
was cool. She got it all out of her system when she was little.
Right. She became a teenager, and then she was like, wow.
I think I prefer it if they're really little and acting nuts or whatever. And then instead of being a teenager and doing that, because then it's just like they're not listening.
Yeah, I'm sure he beat Jeremy up today. Oh my Lord. Now he just turned 28 the other day. My son just turned 28.
Oh yeah, it looked like my 2-year-old's like, it's time to go. She handed me her stuff. Look,
she said, I'm running this. I want to go.
Mommy, why you give me all this stuff, baby?
It's time to tell you, Mommy, it's bedtime.
She said it's time to go. So I guess we better wrap up.
Did she yell at you in Japanese?
She will all the time. She gonna blur with me. Shito, you open the door for her. She coming up. She not even waiting for me. So I'll let you guys go ahead and do your closeout things, and I'll do mine last if I'm hosting. Right. She got her stuff right here. I'm coming up in a minute. I got closeout. You want to take this?
What do we do for closeout?
You just you know, it's kind of like a reintroduction. Say what you got going on so that people can know what's up with you, what you got coming out, like you write in your book, so you could do that kind of closeout thing.
Oh, okay, yeah. I have 2 books out right now. You can find them on Amazon. The first one is called First Kiss of Freedom, and the second one is called Kiss of Fire. And the third book, which is called Kiss of the Arctic, will be coming out in April. So I will probably be putting that up on pre-order sometime in February. So if you follow me on social media or YouTube, I will let you guys know when the pre-order is up and available.
Awesome. I'm going to go check your other books out for sure.
What genre?
Paranormal romance.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have, it's me, Aphrodite again. Like I said earlier, I have Encounters. The 7 Erotic Sins is up for pre-sale now. Under Minx Kenosha. And other than that, the only thing I have going on right now is going to be auditions and stuff like that to make the book trailer. So watch my channel for little clips and goodies on that.
Cool. We have all the links below for both of you, so people can definitely find you guys. As you know, I'm Author DL Tillery. This is my channel. You can follow me on Patreon, Instagram, Twitter, pretty much anything that's a social media thing I have an account for. You can put in Author DL Tillery. You can look me up. If you go on my website, I have monthly poetry that I published on there for reading. My website's pretty easy to navigate. I try to keep it real simple for my writing one. So you just scroll down and it'll have my poetry section on there. So February 1st, there'll be a new poem up on there, usually with a picture prompt. Sometimes I enter contests, or not contests, but I enter writing prompts with the Writers Unite, and I'll put theirs up that I entered and put that was on their blog. So I'll put that on my website sometimes, or I'll just have my random one up there.
You do that in your Patreon too, right?
Yeah, on Patreon, I do offer my patrons, like the $1 patrons and up. They get a poem every month, and also a little clip from my novel. So it just be little teasers and stuff like that.
Right.
So also if you're a Patreon on there. And then right now I am working on revising and editing Chronicles of Cagliostro, Tales of the Libertin. That's hopefully going to release at the end of this year. So it's going to be at end of fall, early winter. And then I have my poetry compilation planned for 2020. I also have my horror compilation that's supposed to be coming out in 2020. That one's a really good one. It has about 24 to 25 short stories in that. And then I have one of my paranormal romance, or I guess you say fantasy romance, because it's about the Fae. That one's called When Fireflies Mingle. You'll see a post of that on my website. And I also have another book that I'm working on that's a angel series, angel based series. So that one's also
I'm looking forward to the Fae and Angels.
Oh yeah, everybody's looking forward to the Fae. And one of the short stories that's in my horror compilation, everyone was asking me about, because I mentioned it when we did a write-in, is the mermaid horror romance. So it's like a horror and romance. So that one should be very, very interesting. It's probably one of the most liked ones in the compilation.
Yeah,
but my horror
interesting combination. You don't see that very often.
Yeah, I know. So everybody was like, "What?"
She's trying to kill me, Nichole.
She's scared of anything horror. Like she can't take it.
Some aquatic shit, and she know I'm gonna die. Horror at that, horror and aquatic.
I threw romance in there. What do you want? Like I'm trying to help you out. Like
that's funny.
But yeah, so that one, and my horror compilation is it's like connected. So it's like this. It's one woman running the whole keep. So it's called the Shadow Keep. Cryptic Tales, and her name is Nana, and she's the keeper of the keep. So there's different inside the keep. There's different doors, and they all have the different story prompt. So when she goes to turn the key to open the door, it prompts the next story. So, and she tends to show up in a lot of the stories differently, and she has her own main one in the book too. So Nana's very important to this horror compilation, let's say. Actually, I gave my older brother nightmares telling them one of hers. He was like, woke up like screaming. Like I'm like, yes, it's a horror writer. I've done my job.
She gave a grown ass man nightmares, and she just told the story campfire style. Just imagine.
Wow.
She already stressed. She can't read horror.
I'm with her on this. I'm not a horror reader. I don't like watching horror movies. I don't like feeling scared. Nope, that ain't my thing.
Oh, I watch horror movies all year.
Yeah, my husband loves horror movies, and he's constantly, I want you to watch a horror movie with me. And I'm like, if I'm watching a horror movie with you, you best not be leaving for a really long time, because
thank you. If I had a boyfriend, I would watch with him and snuggle.
It's not about the snuggling. It's about I'm gonna like freak out over every little creak in the house for watching this.
Now, when are you gonna do a cover reveal for the compilation, the horror compilation?
Oh, I already did it. The cover is on my website already. Actually, I found it. It worked out like it was a pre-made, which is the funny thing. And I was in the group and I saw this cover and I was like, what? This is perfect.
I mean, I saw it already, but I was wondering when you would do it for the fans. I didn't know you had
I am. I mean, I put it on my website already. It's on my website. I'm going to do a official cover reveal on my channel probably later in the year, because it's not going to be coming out anyway until 2020. But I haven't decided, because I've been thinking about doing a video on my covers that I currently have for books and do cover reveals, because I've already have them on my website. So I'm probably going to do that. So that's a good idea, actually. So maybe in a couple of weeks I might just do that anyway.
So wait a minute. So your compilation isn't coming out first?
No, it's not going to be coming out until 2020 now, because I want to debut. Yeah, I want to debut my first novel as Chronicles of Cagliostro. So I've got everything else on the back burner until that's out, and then I'm gonna release probably 3 novels next year. So
Okay, I got you.
Gonna be like boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, and definitely if you decided on the self-publishing route, that's a really good idea to bank a bunch of books ahead of time. Unlike me, which is not what I did. So instead, now I'm just like, holy crap, I'm all out of already written books, and I need to.
I gotta get them out, man.
Yeah. I need to stick to this like every 3-month schedule. So I guess that means I'm fast drafting. Let's see how this goes.
That's what, with me. Like I tell everybody that that's probably the best way to do it is like what you guys were saying. I can't do that because my series stories are too heavy on me. If I waited to get them all done, it would be like 2022. So, but it's still like what you say is the best way to do it. Like get them out and go boom and boom and boom.
Yeah.
I just have to do mine the old fashioned. Go ahead and do them as you do them because otherwise they won't get out.
Yeah, I get that. But I could write such short stories, so I could end up doing like novellas or whatever because I've had those.
I can't.
Plus, I had poetry. I mean, I could publish a lot of stuff, but I want Chronicles of Cagliostro to be my debut novel because I want to be known for my paranormal romance stories, and then because I write so many different genres that I want to start with a specific one, and then I haven't decided if I'm going to do different name tags or not. Like I think
it depends on what kind of genres you're doing. Like if you're going to do like paranormal romance and urban fantasy, I don't think they need different names.
Different names.
Exactly.
I do write horror, so
right. But
anything that I do that's not adult to have a different name. I don't want any kids picking up my book thinking that it was connected to the other ones.
Yeah, that's true.
Right. Well, I mean, from what I remember, I don't recall her saying she writes YA. But yeah, if you would ever do like a YA book, you might want to consider a different name because you wouldn't want, 13-year-olds picking up your books that you wrote as adult novels under the same name.
Well, see, I do write middle grade. So
I don't want,
exactly.
I don't care if they know that it's me. I just want to distinguish that if you picked this book up, you was wrong.
Yeah, it's not for you.
That way.
This is not the age range for you. Yeah, I actually finished children. I have a children's series that I've written the first book. It has illustration, and so I have to do all the drawings and all that stuff. But I did the first one, and then it's a 4-part series right now, but I think it's probably going to be a continuous series, more than likely. Then I have a book that starts middle grade and becomes probably YA and then to adult because the main character grows up during the series. Right, yeah, like that. So it starts middle grade. Yeah, it's going to start middle grade and work its way up. That one's about a little girl actually who has mind powers and stuff. So she starts young and then grows up. So it's going to grow with that. So I haven't decided like which names. I think I have my DL Tillery, and then I'm probably going to have just my middle name, which is Lavinia. And then I will probably maybe use my dance name for one of my other things, my horror one maybe or something like that. But I have so many different things I go by. I go by Danny too because I'm a tomboy. So. But
that's why, like, I want my debut novel to be shattered under my name, so my mom can smile at me.
Yeah, of course.
And that's why, it's my debut novel, and it's my first series. Yeah. And I don't want to really call it a series because it technically is a trilogy because it does end at that third book. There's a companion book that comes with it, but it's not part of the trilogy.
Yeah, I get that.
So I want that, and I want it with my name. But anything that I do, because I'm not a young adult person writer, but I have a young adult story finally in 2018. So if I go move forward with that, it'll be under H.A. Lee.
Yeah.
Because I just don't want anything that says Aphrodite Lee to be misconstrued. My erotica is done under a pseudonym.
Yeah.
I don't have my name attached to it at all.
Yeah. So that way it can be separate from that. There's some good stuff though.
Right.
I already got mine pre-ordered, so.
Right, because I Mace Kenosha, that ain't none of that my name at all. Aphrodite Lee is my name. H.A. Lee is my name.
Yeah.
So, and I want those to be over here.
I might really want to think about my name for it when I do horror, because even though I have on my cover, though, I probably should have thought about that, but I can always just change it. But
Yeah,
I have
that's
DL
an easy
Tillery
change.
on there. I have DL Tillery on there right now, but I'm probably gonna do maybe a different one because I write so many different genres that I'll probably have to do that.
And that's I just have the bulk of my work is Aphrodite Lee, thankfully.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't even have that young adult thing, but if I do, I already know there's gonna be H.A. Lee.
Yeah.
And then my erotica stuff is always Meets Kenosha.
Well, I suppose I could just do 2, or I could just do 3, where I could do DL Tillery, and then for my middle grade, I could do Danette Tillery, and then for my horror compilation or my horror stuff, because I have other stories too. Horror.
Your horror stuff could be DL Tillery as well.
Could be, because it's adult.
It's still adult.
So
all of my
I might only need the 2. I might only need the 2. Just my full name,
right?
For the Danette L. Tillery, probably for the middle grade to growing up type of stuff. So we'll see what happens. I don't know. All right, guys. I guess that's it. We're gonna just leave you here. We'll see you next week. We should be on Aphrodite's channel next week. We just had a little switch up because she was going to be rolling in late, so I took the mantle up this time for her. All the links are below. Yep, all the links are below. If anyone is watching, you can go subscribe to everyone's channel and come and visit us on all our social medias. And we will see you next week. Hopefully, Nichole, you will be with us too, right?
I would love to come back. Yeah.
Yay, we hope so. So, yeah, I'll hit you up, of course, so we can get you in on the action.
Yeah, okay. And if you have questions, hit DL up with any questions that you want to pose.
Yeah, like if you got any questions you want to run anything, we always just mix it up and then we'll pick 3 to do for the thing. And so if you got any you want to come up with, shoot them to me.
Okay.
All right, everybody. We'll see you later. I'll see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.